The son she dreamed of seeing in the front row returned as an imam. There are wounds that time can never heal, and there are moments that can shake a mother's heart in a single second. Look at this. You lose your husband while your children are still very young. You devoted your entire life to teach them to love God. You sacrifice everything so they can have a future. Then one day, yes, many years later, your eldest son returned home from abroad, and he quietly says, "Mom, I'm no longer the person you think I am." The story is a true story, but it could belong to any other's family. I ask you for one thing, please. Don't live before the end, because the final moments have moved even people who believe they could never cry again. A gentle breeze stirred the leaves of the old cemetery. A young widow stood before the freshly covered grave of her husband. Her two little boys held tightly to each of her hands. The older one looked up at her, confused and searching for answers. The younger one cried quietly, unable to understand why his father would never come home again. She laid a single flower on the grave. Then, with a trembling voice, she whispered, "I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I promise you one thing. Our sons will grow up knowing and loving God." At that moment, she believed the hardest part of her life was already behind her. She was wrong. The years that followed became a daily battle. While others slept, she sewed clothes. While others slept, she watched laundry. While others slept, she cleansed other people's home. Sometimes she skipped meals so her children will never have to go hungry. Yet every evening, no matter how exhausted she was, she opened her Bible, they prayed together, and she always reminded them, "People may abandon you, kids, but God never will." Those words became the light that guided their childhood. The two brothers grew up, surrounded by their mother's love. They were not wealthy, but they were rich in faith and in hope, and above all, overflow with love. The years passed, and before she knew it, her little boys had become young men. Then came the day that filled her heart with both pride and sorrow. Yes, one afternoon, a letter arrived. The oldest son's hands trembled as he opened it. He had been accepted into a university overseas. His dream had finally come true. His mother smiled through tears. She thanks God over and over again. Yet, deep inside her, she already missed him. She had prayed for it, but another's hearts. The day of the departure finally come. At the airport, she held him tightly, as through letting go would break her heart. Yes, she held him tightly, as though letting him go would break her heart. Then she looked into his eyes and softly said, "No matter where life takes you, never forget who you are and never stop doing what is right." He smiled. "I promise, Mom." Neither of them knew that promise would soon be tested, hardly tested. His first months overseas were harder than he had ever imagined. His savings disappeared far too quickly. He counted every coin. Some days he could only afford one meal. Other days he went to bed hungry. There were nights when he wondered if he should give up and return home. But he never told his mother. Every time she called, he smiled. He said, "Mom, everything is fine." But after hanging up, he cried alone. And just when he thought every door had closed, and then one cold evening, as he sat outside university, someone approached him, a middle-aged man with kind eyes, a gentle smile. He simply asked him, "Son, have you eaten today?" That single question changed everything. A Muslim family welcomed him into their home. At first, he accepted their invitation for only a few days. A few days became weeks. Weeks became months. They never asked for anything in return. They never pressured him. They never tried to change his belief. Instead, they simply made room for him at their table. They shared every meal with him. They laughed together. If he came home late, they worried like loving parents. Little by little, they stopped calling him our guest. They began calling him our son. Every week, just before dinner, the father would gently ask everyone to be quiet. The entire family lowered their heads. He raised his hand towards heaven. Then he offered a long and heartfelt prayer. When he finished praying for each member of his family, he always uttered the same words. "And Lord, bless the son you have sent to us from so far away." The young man would lower his eyes. No one had ever spoken about him with such a tenderness. 3 weeks later, the family discovered that his widowed mother back home could no longer afford the remaining cost of his education. Without telling him, they decided to pay everything. When he called his mother to tell her that his tuition had somehow been taken care of, she broke down in tears. She thanked God over and over again, never knowing that on the other side of the world, complete strangers had become the angels he used to answer her prayers. And that was the moment everything began to change. The young man did not change his faith because anyone pressured him. No one forced him. No one threatened him. No one tried to manipulate him. Instead, he became very strange. He began asking questions. He read. He listened. He compared. He reflected. He took his time. His journey was slow. Yes, the journey was slow, personal, and deeply sincere. Year after year, he searched for the truth with all his heart until one day, after years of study and prayer, he made a decision that would change the course of his life forever. He embraced Islam. Time continued to pass. The young student became a respected man. Eventually, he was appointed as an Imam. People admired him. They sought his advices. They listened to his sermons. Many looked up unto him. Yet, behind his calm smile, he carried a burden that never left him. One question haunted him day after day. How could he tell the woman who had sacrificed everything for him, the woman who had prayed over him every night, the woman who had dreamed of seeing him serve God in the church, that he had chosen a different path?